Howdy, this is Trent with faithtakesflight.com. Today I'm going to show you a ventilation fan installation that we did on our Coachmen Brookstone 395 RL. Now there are other videos out there that show ventilation fan installs. What I didn't find out there though was one that talked about hooking up into your 12-volt system, kind of describing that and showing what to look for. So that's what makes this video a little bit more unique. But I'll go through why we chose this fan over some of the other ones out there. We chose, as you can see here, the Maxxfan Deluxe. What we really liked about the Maxxfan is that it has a built-in cover over it, so there's not a separate rain cover that you have to buy for it. Also with the Maxxfan on the high levels, it moves more air than the other popular brands out there. So for us, the Maxxfan was a clear winner, and we're going to put that in our fifth wheel. Before we get started though, I want to share some encouraging words with you out of one of my favorite books of Proverbs. And Proverbs is written by what is widely considered, whether you believe in the Bible or not, one of the wisest men to ever be on the face of the earth. His name is Solomon. And he says out of Proverbs 11, "One gives freely, yet grows all the richer. Another withholds that he should give, and only suffers want. Whoever brings blessing will be enriched, and one who waters will himself be watered." So again, one gives freely, yet grows all the richer. Another withholds that he should give, only suffers want. What I want to encourage you in is to live out of abundance. Even though you might not feel like it, live as though you are rich. We tell our kids all the time that we are rich, even though we're not rich. Rich is just whose definition of rich, but live as if you have everything that you need. Share with others, with your time, with your money, with your gifts, with your talents. Live as if you have more than what you need, because you probably do. Live in abundance, and you will be in abundance. So I want to share that with you today, because it's encouraging to me. So in this install, we're going to go through putting it in the roof. We're going to tear out what is a passive vent. There's no fan attached to it. It's just a hole in the roof where air can escape, but we wanted to put a vent in where it would actively suck the air out of the RV for us. We'll see how it goes. Thank you. Okay, for this part of the fan install, we are on top of the RV roof, and we're at the portion where that passive vent comes through the roof. And I've already started doing some work here because this is just elbow grease, but I wanted to show you what I'm doing. Partially because it's a lot easier than what you think, and it just takes a little bit of time. So the first thing you want to do is get all these screws out. And these screws are what's holding your vent in place, and they're going to be covered up probably by the die cord. So you just need to find the screw heads, and instead of uncovering them at first, all you need to do is just find the screw head, and your driver should be able to just reverse them out of there. Just like that. And just go around and take them all out. After that, you're going to have to get the rest of the die core off. And what you want to do is try and find something like this. This is just a simple putty knife. It's a painter's tool. Doesn't have a real sharp edge on it. The thing you have to be careful about here is making sure that you don't cut into your roof membrane. So just take your time, go slow, and work around it, getting this uncovered, as you can see here. When I get this done, I'll be able to pull this off, and then we'll come back here and work the rest of the putty off, and I'll show you that next. Okay, I'm back again, still working on the vent in the top of the camper. Got all the screws out, as you can see. Wanted to show you what it looked like as we started to peel this vent up. Started over here on this edge and just worked it up. And as you can see, as I lift it up here, I'm going to be real careful of that rubber membrane here. but just kind of work it up slowly, peeling it away. Again, it looks scarier, seems scarier than what it really is, but just go slow. Okay, we're up here again, still working on getting all of the old butyl and dicor off the roof, but we have my two boys here who have come through the roof vent to help out. You guys say hi.
Hi.
Okay, so what we're doing is Daddy's just coming along here at the scraper and getting these things. Can you move your hand a second? Thank you. Coming along here and just scraping these up. Okay, get that one. And then the boys are picking it up. Thanks for your help. We'll come back when we're further along. Back again. Just wanted to give you guys one tip that really helped get this dicor stuff up. As you can see, there's hardly any left. What I did is I took a hair dryer and heated it all up as I scraped it along, and almost got all of it up. So use a hair dryer, heat it up, it'll go a lot faster for you. Now, last step, I'm going to try and get as much as I can with just a little bit of thick paint thinner, and we'll go from there. Thank you. Oh, here we got a helper coming back up again. Wanted to show you the final product after I had the paint thinner on here. See, we got it pretty clean. Took a lot of elbow grease, a lot of patience, working at it carefully, but got it all prepped. Should be ready now for the new vent to go in. Continuing on in the install, after we've got the roof cleaned up here, I put a layer of this butyl tape down. Let's see here, got this butyl tape. It's a dicor product, and I just put a layer all the way around this shroud that's going to go down first on the roof. Now, this is not a requirement for this project, but it just makes it so that you have a consistent product laid down to help against the water coming in. Just makes a better seal when you have a consistent layer all the way around. That's the only reason I went with that. You can just go with the dicor sealant, put a bead of that all the way down, and then lay this down on top of it. I went with the tape, and I'm actually going to double up, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this down, and then I'm going to put dicor on top of that as well. So let's see how it goes. Okay, still at it. As you can see, I've got the initial flange all the way down now. Put the screws into the roof. You can see a little bit of that dicor tape coming out. So he's back again. Now we're just going to cover it up with the actual dicor caulk. One more video up top here before we start putting the actual vent on. You can see I have put the dicor caulking compound all the way around, and you don't have to be real careful with this stuff. Just cover everything up, put a good thick bead on, and it's self-leveling. So you can see it's already just flattening out and oozing into all the cracks, making a good seal. Okay, there it is. Set the fan in. Nice thing about these Maxxfans is that the actual fan itself is easy to come in and out if you ever need to repair them. They're just held on by 1, 2, and then there's 2 more screws on the other side. So if you ever need to do any repairs to it, you pop those out and the fan comes right out. So that's it. Now we'll finish up on the inside with the electrical portion of it. Okay, we are back in the RV after the vent. The Maxxfan has been installed now. As you can see up here in our model of the RV, that vent was in the loft. This is probably the highest point in the RV. So here's where they put that passive vent. We now have the Maxxfan installed there. What's missing here is the shroud, the internal shroud, because we still need to hook up to 12 volt power. This is a 12 volt fan. So we have a positive and a negative wire, and they're labeled as such. Now we need to hook them up into 12 volt power. There's a light right here that's 12 volt, but that's run off of this switch. So if I tie into the wiring in that light, we're only going to have power in the fan when I turn on the light of the switch. So that's not going to work. We need to find a wire that has live power at it all the time. So I started looking around. I have a switch here that I could run to in this RV, and I could wire into that switch before the switch, but then I'd have to go through the ceiling and then down the wall. I started looking around, and if you come with me, our bathroom in this RV is right next door to our loft. So I took the shroud out of the bathroom vent to see where the wiring was, because the bathroom vent is wired right in to live power. So as soon as I push the button up here, the fan comes on. So that tells me that there's 12 volt power right here. So there's a conglomeration of wires right here, and all I need to do is just tie into a positive and a negative and run my wire through the ceiling. And since we're right next door, it's only going to be about a 2 or 3 foot run through the ceiling. I wanted to give you a few more details about the electrical hookup for this fan. This fan is a 12 volt fan, which most of the wiring in your RV is going to be 12 volt. It's a DC system, stands for direct current. It was invented by Edison, later replaced by AC, alternating current, which was invented by Tesla. A little history lesson for you there. Anyway, so what you need to figure out in your RV is where is a live line that you can hook into. And you're going to have to get yourself a multimeter to do that. This is just a simple $15 multimeter. You want to set it to DC, which is basically this V with a line and 3 dots underneath it. If you go to here, V with a squiggly line, that's the AC system. So you're going to want to make sure you're in one of these with the V with a line and then the 3 dots. That's a DC. So now we need to figure out which one of these, the green or the white, is going to be our live line. And we just take our multimeter probes and insert them into these connections, and then we'll just see what, it's going to be a little tricky here. Ah, there you go. See it, 12.6 volts, but you notice that negative. That means that I've got these reversed. So that means that this red one, the positive, was on a negative line. So that must mean this green here must be the positive line. So if I put positive, positive, negative, and negative, now you'll notice we're at 12.7 volts, but our negative is gone. So this here, the red with the green lines, must be our positive system, must be our positive line, and this white here must be our negative. Just want to take notice of that, because when you hook up your fan, you're going to have to make sure positive goes to positive, negative to negative, or you'll ruin your fan. Alright, I think we've got it all hooked up. I've got the positive and negatives going into our live wires here. We've got this fan working, and let's go over and check out the fan. So you can see the wires here, and what I'll end up doing is I'll tack these to the side and put this shroud in place to finish up the installation. Maxxfan does come with a remote, so let's see if it turns on. That's a nice change. From going from a passive fan to an active fan, it's going to just provide a lot more cool air in here. So it's a nice upgrade for our RV. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this video. So if they have any questions, post the questions down below or check us out on faithtakesflight.com. And there's a way to contact us there via email or leave comments in the blog there as well.